Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely, and with me, of course, is Peter Lavelle, co-founder of The Gaggle and host of Artie's talk show, Crosstalk. Today, which is October the 9th, in about an hour or so, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, who is also third in line to the presidency, will hold a news conference to introduce a piece of legislation. The legislation will propose the establishment of a commission to enforce the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Now, just in case anyone doesn't know what the 25th Amendment pertains to, it pertains to what happens if the president is incapacitated in some way. We know, of course, that if the president dies, then the vice president takes over. But what happens if the president, some debilitating illness, what happens then? And according to the 25th Amendment, if there is an agreement among the vice president and the principals of the government, which is cabinet ministers, then the vice president takes over until such time as the president is capable of to his job. However, we are at the moment just 3 weeks before the election, and the question arises, what the hell is Nancy doing playing at, talking about this piece of legislation at this time, particularly if the polls are to be believed, the Democrats are cruising to a very comfortable landslide victory. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, well, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this announcement yesterday, when she's talking about the mental fitness of Donald Trump, and she herself had a very hard time getting those words out. Media. It was really interesting. I mean, these people never have any kind of they never look inward about how they behave and what they talk about. Well, the first thing that came to my mind is that I think I've mentioned it to you before. Somewhere in the DNC, or maybe it's Nancy's office or Chuck Schumer's office, they have this whiteboard, and they have all the things they're going to do to control the news cycle. Okay, and they just landed on that one. That this is what we do on the 9th. Okay, and it's constantly to be churning the news cycles. Okay. Of course, this is not going to go anywhere at all. I mean, if you read the 25th Amendment, and I was going to say closely, you don't even have to read it closely, because one of the easiest amendments to really understand is that it has nothing to do with policy, Nancy. You don't like his policies. This is about being incapacitated in one form or another, if it's some kind of grave physical ailment or sickness, or a diagnosed by medical professionals mental incapacity. Okay. You can say a lot of things about Donald Trump, but he's not incapacitated. Okay. So this is just to churn the news cycle. It is it's red meat for the base of the Democratic Party. It's red meat for the liberal media to chew on for a couple news cycles. It's just kabuki theater is what it is. It's really shameful too. No wonder people are so disaffected by politics. Okay, you have this crazy old lady with her dentures talking about, he's not fit to rule. Well, Nancy, maybe you should release your medical records for us. And I hope you all the best. I really do. I don't hope the worst for anyone when it comes to their health. The health is the most important thing, and those of you who are getting older know what I mean. Your health is very important here. So it's kabuki theater. It's what it is.
No, I absolutely agree with you that all of this is for the media, who will, of course, gleefully parrot that she tells them. Oh, yeah, and they will say, and it's already started, the media report, yes, she's acting in accordance with the Constitution. If you read, as you say, if you read the 25th Amendment, Congress has no role in any of that. It is a decision taken by the vice president, primarily, and the cabinet officers. They're the ones who decide that the president is incapacitated and that therefore the vice president takes over. No, there's no role in Congress in all of this. But the media were obviously too lazy to even bother picking up the Constitution and actually reading what the 25th Amendment says. Would simply go on, yes, 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 yes. She's absolutely right, acting entirely in accordance with the Constitution. And of course, you're right. There is no way in the world that this legislation will pass the Republican Senate. No way in the world, even if it did, that the president will send to it. No way in the world that the Congress can override the president's veto. It is entirely a media exercise. So that here we are on Friday, and what are we talking about? On Friday, which will be all over the talk shows on Sunday, Nancy Pelosi is talking about invoking the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from the White House.
Yeah, because Nancy, you can't invoke the 20th Amendment. Right. Nobody really, anybody with two brain cells, in their head knows that the Congress. I mean, the Congress can amend the amendment, but that could take years.
Yeah. I mean, very hard to do.
They make it very hard to change the Constitution for good reason, and I'm glad. Okay, so, but what she will do is. I'm sure this committee will move expeditiously, and maybe in 10 days' time, George, they will have recommendations. And since Pence won't do it because he's Pence, and his Trump's cabinet are full of cowards, we will use this as an article of impeachment. No hard work goes to waste, okay, by this Democratic Congress. And so they'll just flog that. I'll tell you one thing, George. If Trump loses, and he's in bad shape coming into the last stretch here, he's in bad shape. What do you bet, George, that she'll do exactly what I just said? Even if he is defeated, she will try to impeach him again. I wouldn't be surprised. No, because these people are fanatics. They're fanatics. What she wants to do is to tarnish this administration so badly.
Right. That's exactly right. And it really is a case of just like that crazy moderator at the debate who brought up, well, will Trump accept a peaceful transition? Echoing Chris Wallace's question, will Trump accept a peaceful transition? Never asking, well, what are the Democrats? I mean, Pence, of course, brought this up, but that's really the salient issue in America for the last 4 years. The Democrats absolutely refused to accept the 2016 election result, and have worked, via the FBI, the CIA, via Pelosi and Schiff and others in Congress to remove the duly elected president. And we're talking about Trump not accepting an election outcome.
What is really remarkable here, and I remember saying this months after Trump was elected, maybe just after he'd been inaugurated, is that the destruction of institutions that has occurred, that will occur at that time and point in time, it's really quite astounding. Look how we're abuse of the 25th Amendment, abuse of impeachment. Okay, I mean, not to speak of the abuse of the administrative state or the deep state, whatever you want to call it, against the sitting president. They keep saying, going back to norms. They're destroying norms. They've politicized everything. Okay, the 25th Amendment, I think it came in 1967, right? I mean, and that was carefully thought out. And it was a reflection upon the fact that Woodrow Wilson had had a stroke when he was president. FDR was clearly not physically fit to run for his last campaign, and it was wrong. I mean, on a humanitarian basis, people should have said, "Mr. President, you just can't do this here." Okay, and then of course we had the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And so it was so we have all of those events spanning essentially a half century in a carefully thought out amendment. Okay, Nancy Pelosi is anything but carefully thought out. Okay, because all she does is embarrass herself, embarrass the party, and of course you have these media figures that know how silly this is, and they will, like you said on the Sunday show, so this bang away, and on Monday everyone's going to wait What's next, Nancy? What's next, Chuck? Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not trying to be cynical here, but this is really true. This is a reflection of what's going on here. Okay. This constant drumbeat. I understand it's politics, but this is a kind of politics that destroys confidence in politics itself among the electorate. These people, they don't understand the law of unintended consequences.
No, that's exactly right. And because they never imagine that the shoe will be on the other foot. It will be. It always is. And so therefore, it's in the same way when we talk about the Supreme Court. Oh, great! Well, we're liberals. We're controlling the Supreme Court. Great! We have all this wonderful rulings from the Warren Court. Yeah, but you're not going to be in control forever. The conservatives will pick up on this and say, hey, we want to control the Supreme Court, and then suddenly, oh my God, the Supreme Court is now in the hands of these far right wingers like Scalia and Thomas. Yeah, that's what happens when you start circumventing the democratic process. Then everyone's going to get into it, that's what's going on here.
What they do is they degrade the democratic process, the electoral process, because they're always trying to change the rules in the middle of the game. Okay, lowering the voting age, giving an amnesty, adding states, getting rid of the Electoral College. George, I'm willing to have conversations about all of those things, okay? What does it mean? What is the purpose? How does it further making the political process more democratic? I am open-minded, but what this is that this is the tyranny of the majority, because that's what on crosstalk I get Democrats. But what's undemocratic about it? And I said, what is democratic about a majoritarian tyranny against the minority? And the founders, the framers, understood this. Read the Federalist Papers. I don't think they have banned it yet.
Right. No, that's exactly right. And so what we've had in this the Pelosi era, we had probably the silliest, most trivial impeachment of all time. I mean, it was one of the most idiotic of a phone call that Trump made to the Ukraine president. Nothing, whatever emerged from that, and they put the whole country through this whole impeachment process. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. And now you're going to put the country through this nonsense of invoking the 25th Amendment. It is absolute trivia, and it's just
during a medical emergency, the greatest economic turndown since the Great Depression, and Nancy wants to go invoke the 25th Amendment, which a sitting member of Congress, even if you're the Speaker of the House, has no legal right to do that. Okay. Right. Okay, so I mean, this is trivializing politics, is exactly what it's doing. The thing that and we always say about media narratives, that's the whole point of this podcast, is that the media will not be responsible. I mean, when somebody say this, I mean, Nancy, Madam Speaker, don't you think this is rather silly on your part? Where is the person that has guts? Where's the person that can just say, call balls and strikes and say, this is silly, isn't it? But no one will. Of course, Fox News will, and they'll say, see, it's a Fox News story.
Even on Fox News, I mean, you got Chris Wallace. You can bet, bottom dollar that Chris Wallace on his Sunday show will take all this very seriously, and he will have all these nodding, talking heads. Yes, well, this is all quite serious. Trump really is ill, and so on. Trump, I mean, you talk about Woodrow Wilson. The guy had a stroke. I mean, that's a serious thing. He was completely debilitated after the stroke. Look at FDR. Look at the photographs of him at Yalta. I mean, he looked just like a skeleton. I mean, and this is just a few months after the election. Of course, he shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have run in 1944. But that's. Trump coughs a little bit, as he did when he was interviewed by Sean Hannity, and everyone's already gloating, oh, he's really ill, because he coughed. He may just have been clearing his throat. This is just childish.
Yeah, well, and FDR, LBJ ate bad food all the time. Should he be thrown out of office for that? He had a couple of heart attacks, didn't he? He had at least one heart attack.
Yes.
At least one.
Okay. Yeah.
So... Yeah. This is just a trivialization of politics here. At least it gives us a cannon fodder to expose this false media narrative and how irresponsible the media is. That's why people need to watch our podcasts.
And that's a very good segue to our closing motif, which is if you like the gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.